Hello everybody and welcome to the channel. My name is Plami, and in this episode of Plami's Thoughts Zone, I'm gonna be sharing my opinion on a movie that I watched about 2 years ago called The Cave. And as you might expect with a movie with this name, yes, it is about cave exploration. It's another horror movie, not that different from The Descent, which is another movie that I shared my thoughts on a while ago, I think about 2 months ago. You can check it out on my channel. It's a really cool video. But in my opinion, these two movies, The Cave and The Descent, are two very different executions of basically the same concept. Because obviously both movies are about getting stuck into caves and having to find another way, and in general exploring the caves. And both are horror movies with monsters inside of them. But they do very different things, and it might be surprising to people who know both movies, but I enjoy The Cave more. I do believe that The Descent is the objectively better movie because it's just better executed, but I feel like the things that the two movies decide to focus on is the reason why I prefer The Cave over The Descent. Because while The Descent, I'd say, has better jump scares, is better written, and the atmosphere of it is better, I think the fact that it also focuses on the characters quite a lot instead of the experience of the cave, at least in my opinion, that's what kind of annoys me a little bit. Because yes, it's good that it focuses on the characters and it doesn't just have bland characters who are just bodies to die in this movie, but for some reason that the characters just annoy me whenever I watch it and just takes my attention away from the whole experience and the atmosphere and everything. So in my opinion, that's what drags it down a little bit for me and why I don't enjoy rewatching it as much as I do for The Cave. And what is the main difference between these movies? In my opinion, the main difference is that The Descent focuses on claustrophobia. It tries to instill this atmosphere of basically claustrophobia and being stuck in a situation that you don't want to be stuck. While The Cave actually takes a little bit more of the idea of actual exploration of caves, and it shows you a much bigger variety of environments to enjoy. Because in The Descent, for example, the environment is basically the same. It's just small, relatively small caves with some huge chambers here and there. While in The Cave, there's such a huge variety. You start off with, if I remember correctly, an underwater part. Then you get out of the water. Then you get another like underwater waterfall, I think you could say it is, and it's really cool, and some people even get hurt. Then we get into an underground lake. Then there's one big chamber with stalagmites and stalactites popping out of the water and from the ceiling. I think that is a really cool place. But by far my favorite set piece in that movie is, if I remember correctly, there is a huge cavern, and I don't know why that's such a cool thing to me. And I know this might be a weird comparison, but I think that that is why I enjoy caves in Minecraft so much and exploring them. Like in Minecraft, I love digging to the ground and finding huge caverns underground. I think I love that for the same reason I love the cavern in that movie. It's just, to me, so cool to see such huge open spaces underneath what is supposed to be solid ground. I don't know, it's just so interesting. Because while with The Descent, I do feel the fear of claustrophobia. I'm not really the most claustrophobic person. I actually have more of a fear of deep water, so something like that might hit me better or harder, but it just doesn't work with me as well as it should. Although when I think about it, yes, I do have a little bit of a fear of like getting stuck in a cave, but to me it's more about getting stuck when you're crawling through the tunnel in the cave, not getting stuck in a chamber underground. And the Descent feels more like that. I still haven't found a cave movie which actually has the characters stuck inside a cave. And honestly, I feel like I've developed this fear after the movie, because afterwards I learned about a case of some guy in America who crawled into a cave, uh, wanted to check out an unexplored tiny part of it or something, or wanted to turn around and then wasn't able to get out of the hole, but he got stuck upside down in a cave with only his legs sticking out of the hole, and he died there, and his body is still there. So after that I kind of developed this fear of getting stuck between like hundreds of meters of rock, both above and below you. I don't know, that's the terrifying part of it. And The Descent didn't really have that outside of like one scene. So, and especially once we get into the monsters, it completely kind of loses the whole atmosphere of claustrophobia, in my opinion. And some other people have complained about that, and I've gotten more into it, I believe, in my video about that movie. But for this one, I just like that it actually shows you many different environments underground. Like, there's much more of a variety in that. And some of the set pieces, I think mainly the first one where you get out of the water, where the characters get out of the water at first. It looks very similar to a movie with Sylvester Stallone, in which he is stuck in a tunnel for cars which is crumbling, and the tunnel goes under the river or something. I don't remember the name of the movie. If I find it during editing, I'll put it on the screen. But there's one scene that is very similar with a scene from that movie. So yeah, there's that. And yeah, you could complain about the characters in this movie. They are for the most part very forgettable. At the very least, they're not terribly acted, I guess. I don't think there was anything stand out of them, but there wasn't anything particularly bad anyway. And as I said, I like that the characters are not really getting in the way of your enjoyment of the environment. I think that's why I like this movie much more. Well, for the monsters, I honestly don't know how I feel about him. I haven't really thought about him. I feel like, in a certain way, these monsters are scarier than the ones from The Descent, because in The Descent, the characters actually take them down very easily. So, they're not particularly terrifying. They are terrifying when you first meet them, I guess, and the whole concept of them, or at least the look of them, is kind of creepy. But after they start killing them, they're not that scary, in my opinion. While these creatures in this movie, I don't think they ever defeat them really. Like, I think they might have defeated one or two of them, but I feel like just because they're genuine monsters, it's much more terrifying to me in a certain way. I don't know. And there's also the concept, a part of this movie plot where there's actually some kind of a virus or bacteria or something that turns people into this creature, because in the opening shot of the movie we have some people in the 20th century getting inside this cave, and then there's a whole the cave entrance collapsed, so they get stuck. And as far as I understand, the movie implies that those creatures we see in the movie are them, which is why we have one of the characters get infected too. But that person actually ends up dying, if I remember correctly. And at the end of the movie there is a reveal, and I think I remember watching that reveal, but I'm not sure whether I have watched this movie or not. So in my opinion, if you are into seeing different underground environments and cave environments, I think you should definitely watch this movie, but do not expect really deep characterization or anything really done with the characters. beside being cardboard cutouts or anything like that. If you want more character-driven story, watch that is with caves, watch The Descent. But if you're more into the experience of the caves, watch this one for sure. And yeah, I don't think this is a good movie or anything. So I guess if I have to be objective, I'd probably give this movie like a 6.4 out of 10. But in my personal opinion, I honestly love this movie enough to give it an 8 out of 10 at the very least. It's just an enjoyable experience, if not a movie experience, I guess you could say. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, leave a like and subscribe. Also, check out the link to the description to my Twitter if you want to follow me there, and to my Wattpad where I post my stories. Because in addition to doing all these videos on my channel, I'm also a writer. And if you do end up enjoying my stories or simply enjoy my videos, you can head over to Patreon or Subscribestar where you can pledge support and help keep the channel going, help support me so I can keep writing the stories you enjoy. And additionally, I just want to mention that all the money you decide to support me with are gonna go towards my transition fund, because if you're new to the channel or just haven't noticed already, I'm actually transgender, but I haven't transitioned yet. I'm hopefully gonna be starting my transition in a few months. So if you could be helping me out monetarily, that would be greatly appreciated. But still, I don't want to guilt trip you into helping me out. So if you don't want to do it, that's completely fine. You can still help me out by liking this video, subscribing, and especially sharing this video with somebody who you think might enjoy it. And I think that's pretty much it for this video. So hopefully I'm gonna see you in the next one. Bye.